up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the trade that the Minnesota Vikings made this morning to acquire Yannick Ngakoue. Pretty sure I'm saying that right. Let's get it started.
What's up, guys? Jeremy Davis here, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Just want to encourage the Lions fans and any football fans in general to subscribe to my guys' channel, DoseOfDion.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here, and today we are discussing this trade, why the Detroit Lions didn't make a trade to go get a guy like Yannick. Now, I don't know if I'm necessarily saying his name right, okay? And I'm probably going to say it wrong the entire video if I'm already saying it wrong. So just keep that in mind if you're like, dude, this guy, he doesn't know what he's saying. I'm just going to stick to Yannick because I'm pretty sure the first name is right. So we're going to be discussing that in today's video. But before we get it started, let's go check out the whiteboard worthy comment of the day, man. Oh, stat, 14 days. Look, we're going to start putting other stuff up there too, but I don't know. I just love the big countdown. Maybe we'll put like a little question on the bottom. There are two lines. You can put a question right here, Bob. But for now, 14 days, guys. 14 days until the Detroit Lions season kicks off. 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks from now. I'm super excited. I know you guys are too. So let's get into today's video. This morning, the Minnesota Vikings made some headline news trading for Yannick Ngakoue, or just Yannick. We'll just leave it at Yannick. And he's been on the trade block for a very long time, okay? They've been trying to move him out for a very long time. The situation there has become very, very ugly. Kind of like the Darius Slay one, it wasn't very good. So they were trying to move him out, and now the Minnesota Vikings stepped up, and they decided to bring him in and help that pass rush. Now, this was a must for the Minnesota Vikings because they lost a lot of talent this offseason, whether it's due to injuries, opts out, or just players leaving. For example, they went out and signed Michael Pierce, who was their big defensive tackle. Well, he has opted out of the season because of all the COVID stuff, so he opted out of the season. They're not going to have that guy that they spent big money on this offseason. Also, they moved on from Le'Veon Joseph. We know Everson Griffin signed with the Dallas Cowboys, so they needed a lot of help in pass rush. And Hunter is dealing with an injury that Mike Zimmer has said is just a tweak, but he has missed 11 days of practice, so they needed to get some pass rush help. And for their scheme, it makes sense, right? The Minnesota Vikings run a 4-3 defensive scheme with Mike Zimmer. Now, some people are asking whether or not it would change a little bit more now they got a different defense coordinator stepping up. Well, Mike Zimmer basically just went by personnel. He's like, well, it depends on kind of what the personnel looks like. I mean, we may mix in 3 or 4 more if we have the outside linebackers, but if we don't, we're going to stick to the 4-3. They're built to play a 4-3, okay? They're still built to play that. It makes sense to have a guy like Yannick, right? It makes sense to go trade for a pass rusher like this. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing why the Lions didn't make this move. And I know a whole bunch of people were tagging me in this, like, oh my gosh, the Minnesota Vikings landed this guy. This is terrible for the Lions. We should have traded for him. I heard a lot of this around the Everson Griffin move as well. And I think the Everson Griffin would have made a little bit more sense. I think that one could have actually happened because that one was much cheaper. We'll get to that in a little bit. We may touch on that in a little bit. But either way, a lot of people are like, hey man, the Lions should have made this trade for Yannick. So we're going to run through 3 reasons the Detroit Lions did not go out and trade for Yannick. And I know some people are looking at the title and they're already saying to themselves, oh gosh, here we go. You're wrong. We should have gotten Yannick, things like that. I'm just going to explain the 3 reasons probably why the Lions didn't even consider this, because I don't think the Lions even considered making this trade. And I'm going to go through the 3 reasons why. Now, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, that is okay. But I'm just basically breaking down the 3 reasons I believe the Detroit Lions decided, hey, we're not going to go make the trade for a guy like Yannick. And personally, I don't think they considered it. The first reason, salary cap. Okay, if you guys know by now, the Minnesota Vikings are in a salary cap situation, and it's not a good situation. Where they made that trade, they entered with $12.2 million in cap space, in cap room to make a move. And when they brought in Yannick, that could be brought down to about, $13.5 million for 2020, depending if the Jaguars don't take any of that contract on. But it could be brought down to about $13.5 million for 2020 because he's going to get somewhere around $13.5 million for next season. And the Minnesota Vikings only had $12.2 million. So automatically, as soon as they bring this guy in, they're going to have to make some moves, okay? They're going to have to restructure some contracts. That could come with Kirk Cousins. It can come with some of their offensive linemen. They're going to have to restructure some contracts as soon as they make this move. And the Lions don't want to be in this situation. Bob Quinn does not want to be in this situation. He hasn't been in this situation since he's been in Detroit. This is not something that he's ever done. That's not something that he wants to do. So that's a huge reason on its own. Now, not only is this impactful for this year, it's also impactful for the future because the Minnesota Vikings, now they brought him in, have 2 big names that they have to adjust after the season. And the thing about 2021 is this. We don't know what the heck we're going to get with the salary cap. The salary cap for next season is completely up in the air. And while some teams are spending their money just like usual and they're going really low, there's other teams that are playing it very cautious, like the Lions, like the Patriots. There's a lot of teams out there, they're not spending all that money because they don't know what the heck the future plans. Now, Lions already have to extend Kenny Galladay, Taylor Decker. Those are 2 big names that they're going to have to extend. Lions know they have to have money put back for that, and they don't know what the heck the salary cap's going to look like for 2021. Well, next season, the Minnesota Vikings already 9th least amount of money so far for 2020-21 projected. And they have to make the decision, and they have to make decisions on Anthony Harris and now Yannick Ngakoue for extensions, who it's looking like they're probably both going to get extensions. So all of a sudden, it's a weird salary cap situation, and they're going to have some problems there. The Detroit Lions are good with their salary cap, and the Lions have not went completely under like that before. Now with Bob Quinn, now with Matt Patricia, they're not going to make that kind of a move. Now, some people might disagree with that. Some people say, hey, go all in, spend all your money. I get it, but in this situation, this isn't the guy to go spend your money on, and I'm going to explain why. Let's get to the second reason, and this is scheme. I know, some people don't like to hear this. Oh, here we go with this scheme. Seriously, though, this is a huge reason the Detroit Lions probably didn't really consider making a move like this, because adding a guy like Yannick doesn't necessarily fit the scheme very well. So you're basically going to give a guy over $13 million for this season and an extension. It's kind of like the Darius Slay thing, but not even that. Because you're giving this guy that much money and an extension, and he doesn't even fit the scheme that well. See, the thing is with the Detroit Lions scheme, we run a 3-4. We run a multiple D that's going to change around, mix up, do different things. But for the most part, we're in a 3-4 defense. And this guy is 6'2". He is 6'2", 246 pounds. He plays in a 4-3 defense with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to Minnesota, where he's going to play in a 4-3 defense. He's a speed defensive end. That's what he is. All right, he's a speed pass rusher off the edge. Now, some people may say, well, hold up, we need that. We can use that. You know what? We could use that. Julian Okwara looks like he may be that guy. For now, we also have other guys like Jalen Raven, Jared Davis, who could take on some of that role at the linebacker spot. But the thing with the Detroit Lions is this. The Lions are going to go spend that much money on a speed pass rusher that's not going to be out there every single play. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, why wouldn't he be out there every single play? He would. No, he wouldn't. The reason he wouldn't is because, one, Lions already like to move in different guys for different situations. He wouldn't be out there every single play. And he can't stop the run. He gives you nothing in run defense, and he doesn't drop into coverage. So basically, you're going to give a guy for this season, $13.5 million for a guy that can't stop the run, a guy that doesn't drop into coverage, and he won't be out there every single play. If you look at his stats for last season, nearly 2/3 of his snaps came on passing downs. That's when he would be on the field for the Lions. And that's why Everson Griffin could have made sense, because he can come in on those passing downs. He's not going to be out there every play because you need run stoppers. If you put him on the defensive line, he's too small, and he doesn't stop the run very well. Even a 51.6 grade against the run, which was 97th out of 105 players. 97th out of 105 players at his position. So he didn't stop the run well. And his coverage grade, you may be looking, well, hold up, his coverage grade is great. What are you talking about? He only dropped into coverage twice. He only had two targets on the season. That's why his coverage grade is so great, because no one threw him the ball. He's not dropping back into coverage. He's going to the quarterback, and there's that rare occasion where he drops back. So since he only had 2 targets and 1 reception allowed, he gave up 50%. His coverage grade is great, and that's what makes his PFF grade go way up, because his coverage grade was an 86. So don't just get stuck on the PFF grade here now. See, that's the thing. This guy wouldn't have fit the scheme for the Detroit Lions. Now, you could put him out there on third downs, on passing downs, and he could help you get pass rush, no doubt about it. But to lock a guy up like this, I've said it before, the Lions aren't going to lock up money between 2 big-name pass rushers and Trey Flowers and someone else, when that's not how they build their team. Especially a guy like Yannick that doesn't even fit, so he could be out there all the time. At least Trey Flowers, you can have him out there every down. You can't have Yannick out there every down because it just ain't going to work. He can't stop the run. He's too small. He doesn't fit in the scheme. Now let's get into the final reason. He doesn't fit in the scheme. The salary cap would have been S. And the third reason is this, his personality. Guys, did we just not go through this in the offseason and you guys want to have this again? What have we been praising so far this offseason? The Lions team chemistry, the bond, they're all so close to each other. So you're going to go bring in Yannick. It's not just as a new player. You could bring in new players. The thing with Yannick is this. Yannick's personality hasn't been that great, and it hasn't been shown off to be that great. Now, maybe say, well, he just wanted to get out. They weren't treating him fairly. I get that, okay? Maybe they weren't. Maybe he did just want to get out. I get it. But to blast it on social media is not the way to go about things. We saw that this offseason. That's not how you do things. That's not professionally how you do things. Matt Patricia won't handle that. He didn't handle that with Diggs. He didn't handle that with Slay. He moved him out. He's not going to bring in Yannick for a guy that's going to have personality problems like this, where he may not fit in personality-wise. He's not going to fit the scheme, and you're giving him big money when you don't even know what the future looks like for yourself and for the salary cap. The personality was a mess, okay? If you guys didn't see it on Twitter, basically he was arguing with one of the front office men for the Jacksonville Jaguars on Twitter, telling them to trade him. Okay, he's just like, oh, get me out of here, stop wasting time, things like that, stop stalling. It's like, what are you doing? This is not how you handle things. So for the Detroit Lions, it would have made no sense for the Lions to bring in a guy like Yannick. No sense at all. Plus, the Minnesota Vikings give up a 2nd-round pick for next season and a conditional 5th-round pick that could be a 3rd-round pick the year after. You're going to give up all of that. You don't know your future. You don't know the future of the salary cap. And he doesn't fit the scheme that well, that point where he wouldn't even be on the field every play. He can't stop the run. He doesn't drop into coverage. And you're going to give him that much money and an extension? That would have made no sense, guys. Come on, man. We're better than this. We don't need this. Okay, you want a pass rusher? I get it. make sure it's cheaper than this. Everson Griffin would have made more sense because he's on a cheap deal. He's on a 1-year deal. He doesn't have to be out there every play. You didn't pay him to be out there every play. You're paying a guy like Yannick to be out there every play, and he will be with Minnesota. Minnesota's in a little bit of a different situation, right? Minnesota is building a 4-3, and instead of stacking their secondary this offseason, they basically lost all of their veteran cornerbacks and brought in young rookies, young guys to take over who are unproven. Now you may be saying, well, Lions have a lot of unproven guys. Kind of. They have the top pick in the draft at cornerback who you would think you could rely on. They have Amani returning. They have Coleman who they already give big money to, and they signed Devin Trufant. They got guys that have already proven on the field. What the Minnesota Vikings have is they have no idea the cornerback position. Sure, they've shown some flashes in camp, but you still don't know what you're going to get. I mean, those guys are going to be your starters next year. So the Vikings, this was a must because they're looking at this saying, hold up, our cornerbacks, we don't know what we're going to get in the secondary, and we lost a lot of pass rushers. We got to go get pass rushers because we got to try to help out these guys. The Lions are building the opposite way. Stack the coverage, the pass rush will come from the coverage. And we've looked at numbers that backed up. That's how pass rush can work. Pass rush works like that. Okay, we've already looked at numbers, so if you don't believe me, there's videos on it. That's the thing, though. We're in two different spots here, and for Minnesota, this makes sense. Go get the pass rush. You lost all these guys during the offseason. You have unproven corners. You got to get someone to get to the quarterback because you have no idea where you're going to get the quarterback position. And at this point, there's no one in free agency or a big trade that there's probably going to be very difficult to make a big trade for a cornerback to step into that role. But for the Detroit Lions to stack the cornerback position, this is when they could go bring in a depth pass rusher, but this wouldn't have made any sense for the Detroit Lions. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. And guys, we're going to be fine against Minnesota, okay? Trust me, we're going to be fine. If anything, this speaks to maybe how injured Hunter is. Guys, we're going to be fine, okay? If we can run the football, the pass rush isn't going to be that. The pass rush is not going to do anything because, again, like I mentioned, the dude's not good against the run. So if we can run the football at all, it's going to completely negate all of their pass rush. And obviously, we have one of the best offenses, one of the most explosive offenses in the league. We're going to be fine. This just wasn't the move for us. There may be moves in the future that are for us. There may be moves that maybe we missed out on, but this was not the move. This was not where the Lions should have went with things, and I'm glad they didn't go with things. All right, we're going to be fine. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. I know it's going to make people mad, but hey, it's just how it is. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.